And welcome back to the Cisco TV studio, live streaming to you directly from the RAI here in Amsterdam at Cisco Live 2025. And we have just come out of another fantastic session. So glad to have all of you here with us on the broadcast. We heard from Amit Barav and Edel Joyce about the ways that we're empowering people and technology utilizing Cisco's AI-powered collaboration. So what did we hear about? All the ways that Cisco is helping transform your workspace. So important right now, not just the places where we work, but also the way we work in general, whether it's from our home office, anywhere we happen to be. How do we make it more sustainable? How do we make that more interoperable, more intelligent, more manageable as a hub for what we now call hybrid work? And of course, that hybrid work continues to shift constantly. It feels right now like it's shifting on a daily basis. We never quite know where we are in real time or what hybrid actually means. I want to give you another reminder to please connect with us using social media. We want to hear all of it. Post your thoughts, your insights, your ideas. If you are taking screenshots as you go, if you hear somebody say something in a center stage talk, or you heard something back in the keynote this morning that you keep hearing again and again and again throughout the broadcast, please share it out with us. Kathleen Mudge and her social media team are out there listening to everything that you have to say, responding back to you. Just make sure that you use hashtag Cisco Live EMEA or at Cisco Live EMEA so we know where to find you. We see all of your posts and we get back to you. We are going to head back out to the World of Solutions show floor, specifically back out to WebEx, where Rob is back in that territory in the cinematic meetings booth or close by. And this time we're going to take a look at some ceiling mic innovations, right, Rob?
Absolutely. In fact, I was just thinking, so this is the Ceiling Mic Pro. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so Goody is back with me. If you guys were watching our previous show, I think it was a previous show, we talked about cinematic meetings. But this thing's amazing. Normally you don't see the microphones. You guys have purposely made these more visible just for this reason, so that we could pick them up on the camera, so thank you for that. But it does feel like a superhero kind of thing we could throw. But I wonder if you could explain the value that this is bringing to customers now. Good.
Yep. So the Ceiling Microphone Pro has 64 microphone elements powering 8 adaptive means.
Okay.
So what does that mean?
Yeah.
So it's using adaptive beamforming to track the active speaker in the room, even multiple active speakers in the room, and isolate the active speaker and block out other parts of the room so that it's more efficient in picking up human voice and filtering out reverberation, echo, and background noise.
So I'll have our second camera point over to the ceiling mic that is just above him here, and if you see that, it's the exact same thing here, but with a single connection, you guys are able to provide this, and then it is basically zoning out the room and setting itself up, because these are room conditions that change dynamically, so this becomes important at any given moment.
Exactly. So it provides single cable PoE convenience, just one Ethernet cable required to plug in the microphone. And if you want to scale it for a larger space, like a large training room, a large community space, you can just plug it into a PoE switch, and basically you can scale it based on your requirements.
I love when we're using yet another reason why PoE is handy to have coming out of the closet.
Yep.
But I want to make sure we understand the problem that this solves. I'm going to set it down because I'm going to drop it if I'm not careful. But one of my pet peeves in meetings, like if we look at the meeting table here, one common thing we have is mics spread out in different areas. You know, the fancy ones will have lights telling you if they're on or off. And then I'm always super conscious, everybody's always moving papers around these things. And it's always real uneven, because maybe the one I need is not on at that moment in time. These are not things you have to worry about with this type of microphone, is that correct?
Exactly. So there are scenarios where you want to leave the table free of technology.
Yeah.
You don't want your users to temper the microphones or misplace the microphones. And in those scenarios, this ceiling microphone can be super beneficial, because it's totally unobtrusive, blends into the environment, and just works in the background.
Well, I love the cleanliness of keeping it off the table, and the fact that it's using AI, I believe, to help with that, picking the right zone, and it's working in combination. We think of zooming the audio in a precise manner, right, like a boom microphone might. But then this is also working, when it can, with the systems such as for cinematic meetings, for the reframing of remote guests. So you have both an improved audio experience combined with these intelligent choices being made visually too.
Yes, so our multi-camera scenarios are powered by both the Table Microphone Pro and the Ceiling Microphone Pro as well. So basically it's supporting speaker tracking to make sure that it properly captures the voice of all the active speakers around the table. And even there is, if there is a change in the meeting dynamics, someone stands up, leans behind in the chair, or starts to move around like a presenter in the front of room setup. It dynamically follows that participant.
I love that. So the audio is following you, just like the cameras do. You just may not notice it.
Exactly.
Because but the remote participants, they're going to notice that, or maybe not even fully understand why it's so much better all of a sudden.
Yep.
So what systems do people already have, perhaps, where this could be adding value to them? Does it work across a lot of
So it's supporting the RoomKit EQ, EQX, RoomKit Pro. We made it compatible with the Roombar Pro as well.
Oh, nice.
But even if you have a kind of a smaller space with a Roombar, kind of the entry-level video bar we have, you can still connect one ceiling microphone with that.
You know, for my home audio, I use Sonos, which I've never enjoyed from a setup perspective, but I just love the sound. But it was a big upgrade, finally justifying the cost of adding the subwoofer to the system. It sounded really good. The only reason I'm saying that is because I think from a business perspective, you start realizing what components could be small things, it seems like budgetary-wise or number of units-wise, and all of a sudden you're adding a lot more quality and improving experience for people that need that productivity.
Exactly. And the last thing, super important, that the Ceiling Microphone Pro and also the cross-use setup that you can see behind us can be configured in the Workspace Designer, our online free 3D interactive experience.
And tell me a little bit more about that. I've been told we have just another minute or so we have a little bit more time than I thought. But so the Workspace Designer, how is that helping customers? This is not just a simple, hey, here's a PDF of things you might run into.
So it's taking the guesswork out of the room design effort, making it super easy to configure your own meeting spaces. So you can specify the room size, specify the table shape, the number of chairs you would like to have around the table, and select the video device. And more importantly, it's not only allowing you to select the different conferencing components, but gives you real-time tips and recommendations in terms of how you should configure the space. And if you configure something that may provide a suboptimal experience for any reason, like the camera reach is not sufficient, the microphone pickup range is not sufficient, it will give you suggestions and recommendations, actionable guidance around what to change in the room to fix the experience.
I think that's valuable because in these multi-person rooms, that's the kind of help we need. It's one thing if you're by yourself, that's easy to do. This is a unique issue. This is fantastic. Guys, if you get a chance to come by the Cinematic Meetings booth, even if Goody's not here himself, a lot of smart people, come ask more questions about this stuff because there are a lot of really easy to do, simple things you could do to really elevate your meeting experience. So thank you, Goody, appreciate you. Back to you,
Rob.
Steve.
Thank you so much, Rob. I appreciate it, and a great walk through that capability. I always say this is why you want to be here at the show. It's great to tune in. We're glad to have you all here on the live stream, but there's just nothing like being here at the show for us to get hands-on with this technology. We hear about it, we see it. It's not the same as looking at it online or out of a brochure. Now you get to pick it up, play with it, talk to the people who designed and developed the equipment, and see if it's right for you and what it is that can do, and it tends to spark the imagination. Right now, I'm so glad to have Adele Joyce back here in the studio with me. Congratulations on an excellent center stage session.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Did you have fun doing it at least?
Oh, lots of fun. Cisco Live is always lots of fun.
And I always say, one thing that I always coach people on is if you're not having a good time as you're delivering your content, you're doing it wrong. You should at least be able to have fun with what it is that we're passionate about and that we get excited about. So again, well done. Bravo.
Thank you.
All right, so a couple of questions that I have because I want to continue what it is that we heard and give everybody on the stream a bit of a backstage pass here maybe and dive a little bit deeper, right? So you talked about the power of software and hardware working together in combination. What is it that we do here at Cisco that you think is particularly unique and special? Meaning the why Cisco story. How do we differentiate from the rest of the marketplace?
Well, only Cisco can do full stack collaboration. And I think what's really powerful is it's built on the foundation of our network and our security. And then we bring in a combination of our collaboration hardware and software on top of that, which is powered by AI. And what's so unique about it is that it's really kind of streamlined across the board. Like you're building up on this foundation, and then on top of it, what you're doing is you're combining your technologies together. And as part of that, then you can actually manage, maintain, and scale as a result of that. So it's really powerful. There was a number of things that we talked about today, which brought the WebEx and the devices technology together. So you get the power of the WebEx AI assistant, but you also get the power of the audio and camera intelligence. And that really does drive a distance zero meeting. And that's what we're really good at.
Absolutely. We were just looking at the ceiling mics a moment ago. It's all of the individual pieces that partner, that all work together. If you look at things in isolation, it's very, very hard to put together a cohesive package. And the reality is, even the smartest among us, we don't have great imagination. Line it all up. Show us all of the things that we can do, the way they all tie together with one another, and all of a sudden, the ideas start to flow, and we say, oh, now I see what Cisco can do. And it all speaks to one another, and it is all secured native as part of the structure, right?
Yes, absolutely. And we really do drive that kind of security value that we have. And it's so important. Like when you think about the IT admin and what they have to do to actually manage so much technologies, and now with the speed of AI and how fast it's coming, it's really overwhelming for businesses. And what we want to do is we want to simplify that for you. And what we want to do is familiarize the different workflows. So like when you're looking at your WebEx, for example, and then you're turning to your devices, you have a familiar user interface and how it all gels together and really brings across that unified experience. Like that's our jobs. It's to help our customers to get over this next stage and evolution of technology and really make it simple for them.
Amen. And we heard it from the keynote stage. We talk about it all the time, right? The enemy of progress is complexity. How do we simplify, simplify, simplify? A great way to do it is, again, to make that security native. It's to make sure that everything communicates successfully with everything else. And it seems great. We can talk about it as easily as possible. Actually building it, now that's what all of the brilliant people around here who are much better minds even than you or I are able to do, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I could not compete with those guys, for sure.
One of the things that I keyed in on as I was listening to you in your session, and I just want to make sure that I get the quote exactly right. You said, to be global, you need to be local. Take us a bit further down that path, if you would.
Yes, so a lot of the times, like when you talk about the technologies that we have in meetings, we talk about the audio and the camera intelligence, and that's all fantastic. But a really great meeting experience is actually getting the context of a meeting. And what we talked about that local and global side of it is what we have is a great feature called Translated AI Generated Summaries. And that supports 13 languages. It recognizes 13 languages, but it actually can be translated into over 120 written languages. And can you imagine the power of not just seeing and hearing, but getting a full context of the meeting, because we really want to drive that inclusivity. But also, it's cold here, right, this week? I don't know about you,
No
but
idea what you're talking about, Adele.
It's cold this week, and you think about that when you look at, we have sensors inside our devices, and as part of the sensors, you can actually see what type of meeting room environment you're asking people to come into. And if it's too hot, you're going to have people yawning during your meeting, and if it's too cold, people won't come in at all. So that's really important, that not only in the meeting, but in the meeting room environment, and we support that. So that's really something that we see a lot of people interested in.
Absolutely. And I was going to ask you just one more very brief question. We'll just keep this one short. When we look at our EU customers, all right, so here we are right in the Netherlands right now. And yeah, it's been a little bit chilly outside. I'm from Chicago, so I don't worry so much about the chill. But what are our EU customers particularly excited about, ready to have available to them, that they're telling you about?
Well, one of the things that everyone's excited about, not just specifically the EU, but we just announced yesterday that we launched our Cisco Spatial Meetings. And that has driven, and that's an own personal product of mine, so I'm very proud of it. And I have to say, it drives a great excitement. So there's still lots of innovation outside of just specifically AI. And this product is great because you can simply just update the software on your Roombar Pro, get the latest WebEx app, and then use an Apple Vision Pro, and you can experience a 3D spatial studio. And that's one thing you really have to go try out.
This is really very exciting stuff, and when people hear it, they want to get their hands on it. They want to give it a try. Adele, thank you again. Thank you for taking time. I'm glad that you hit on that here at the end of the talk so that we left on that little bit of a high note. But again, great center stage conversation. Really appreciate your time here in the studio with us.
Thank you for having me.
So we're going to take a very brief break at this point. We're going to take a look at what the bridge to possible actually means. Enjoy, and I'll see you right on the other side of this video.